Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at Letting Go of Gravity by Meg Letter. This is going to be a shorter video because I've read this book a really long time ago. And, okay, by a long time ago, I mean like 2 weeks. But I've read 2.5 books since then, so relatively it's a long time. I don't really remember all the little details, but I'll do my best to give you a main overview. So basically you've got these two twins. Their names are Charlie and Parker. And they are different in pretty much any way you can think of. Parker is more quiet, reserved. She's super smart, and she's the one who, if her parents were going to pick favorites, well, okay, let's put it this way. Siblings always try to decide who's the favorite sibling. It would be Parker. But, that's not necessarily true. And then Charlie is the one who has cancer, well, had cancer. He got it in the 4th grade, but then he was treated and cured in remission. Then he lived his life until right before his senior year of high school, he got cancer again. So now it's the summer of Parker's senior year and Charlie's junior-ish year again. He decided to skip school that year because he wanted to focus on getting himself better and not, getting good grades and stuff. It would have been too much, especially since chemo is, really hard on your body and mind and everything. So Parker is going to be a doctor, and she's going to Harvard University. She has full scholarship, and she has an internship that she's going to over the summer. So it's the same hospital where Charlie was treated, and she just kind of realizes that she didn't want to be a doctor for herself. She wanted to be a doctor, to make her parents proud and not just to, help other people. So she kind of, drops out of the internship program, but she doesn't tell anybody. Well, she doesn't tell anyone in her family, let's put it that way. The only people who know are her best friend, who's currently in Europe on her senior trip, and then Ruby, this girl she met at a local fast food restaurant, and Finn, her old friend from elementary, who she just randomly met one day, and yeah. So instead of her internship, she started working at this pottery shop. So there she kind of helps with this senior program, retirement program they have. So these people come in and they paint pots and paint mugs and stuff. So one of the women that usually comes in has Alzheimer's. So she's kind of taken upon herself to, find different ways to, help her and, make her, have her remember stuff more and, just make her happy, really. And, as a byproduct of this, she wants to get her niece, so the girl's name is Alice, so Alice's niece, to be able to come and visit. She's a single mom, so she can't really pay for, the trip. So the fundraiser, will be selling, pots and mugs and stuff that they painted, and so it's really sweet. So basically, back up a few chapters, half the book really. So Parker has this really weird relationship with Finn Casper. This is important later, so please remember this. And it's like a roller coaster. Sometimes they're talking to each other, sometimes they're not talking to each other and ignoring each other, and it's just kind of difficult, and it goes throughout most of the book. You'd have to read it to really understand. At one point, I think they were dating, but it only lasted a couple days. And then, yeah, because Finn's going through some stuff too, and so is Parker, and it's just not really working out. But none of their, breakups were, big fights or anything. Well, one of them maybe, but they weren't, huge fights. They were just, little small arguments, and they just, well, not really even arguments. They kind of, okay, I'm going to stop now, because I'm confusing you guys, and I'm confusing myself. So, just read the book if you want to know more about Finn and Parker's relationships. Well, relationship, really. And, so that's important. And, yeah, okay, so back to what I was saying earlier. So, the fundraiser that they're doing, Ruby and Parker are helping out. And, well, obviously Parker, but Ruby's helping Parker out. And so, Finn and Charlie were out doing something, and they were going to come help, pick up and pack up and bring everything back to the studio. So it's about the time they might start thinking about coming back, and Parker gets this call from Charlie, and it's kind of like bad reception, so all she gets is like, come to the ER, like he's hurt or something, but like she assumes it's Charlie because he's the one who had cancer. So he's like, crap, it came back or whatever. And so she kind of has a panic attack, and she's been having panic attacks through this whole entire book, but she doesn't really know what they are until this final one, because one of the retirement people was a former doctor. So he's like, hey, I think you're having a panic attack, you should get this checked out, like after all of this is over with. So she goes to the hospital for Ruby, and she's already called her parents, so they're on their way too. So she walks into this ER, and Charlie's standing there. She's like, okay, it's not Charlie, and that's great. But then her kind of clicks in her mind, well, like, if it's not Charlie, then where's Finn? Because they were together. And then, so Finn's the one in the hospital room. He's got, like, broken ribs. I think he had a concussion or something. It's pretty bad. And possibly internal bleeding, so they have to keep him overnight. So she's allowed to go in there and talk to him. And she kind of connects the dots that it's his brother that did this to him, not just boxing. And so Finn doesn't want her to tell anybody, because then his brother might be put in jail, and his father was already in jail, and it just really wasn't good for any of them. He was in the foster care system and everything. It was pretty bad. So she agrees not to tell anybody. And as she's walking out of the room, parents are there, her brother's there, Ruby's there. This girl from the apprenticeship internship is like, hey, I heard you had mono, because that was her excuse to the head of the internship of why she couldn't come. And so her parents are kind of like, wait, what? But they don't like really quite connect the dots yet. So Charlie by this point has figured out like that she's not going to the internship anymore. And oh, by the way, him and Ruby have a relationship. Read more about it in the book. And so he's like, hey, I've been drinking again, like I've been smoking and stuff. And like his parents had already caught on to him for this the first time he did it, so now he's doing it the second time. They're like really concerned and mad at him, and he's like, they take their kids home, and they're like, okay, so Charlie's downstairs like getting his punishment or whatever, and like he's gonna be grounded for like the rest of his life, and he can't see Ruby and whatever. And so Parker's kind of like listening to this, and she pretty much already knows what's gonna happen. So she like walks downstairs. She's like, hey, Charlie's just covering for me. Like, he never did any of these things. Well, not this time at least. And he was just covering for me because I decided to quit my internship, and I just hadn't told you guys yet. So her parents are kind of like shocked. Her mom comes to terms with it faster than her dad does. Her dad's very much like, well, you've always like wanted to be a doctor and whatnot, but before Parker wanted to be a doctor, she just wanted to be what her dad was, but not in the sense that she wanted to be a writer like he was. She wanted to be happy when she came home like he was. So she really feels like this pottery thing like helps her, and she enjoys it so much. And so she continues on with that, and that's pretty much where the story ends. But like Parker and Charlie get along now, and it's great. And then, oh, I forgot the biggest thing ever. This was really sweet. I was almost in tears. And for me, who doesn't really cry a lot, that's pretty good. And so Finn, she had to tell Carla, which was Finn's former foster mom and her boss at the pottery shop, about Finn getting beat up by his brother. So Finn, of course, is, mad at her. They stop talking completely, and he's going to New York I think it's New York. Anyway, he's moving to, like, kind of have a fresh start and, like, just, start over. And, so it's the night he's about to leave, and Charlie asks Parker if, like, she's okay, and she's like, yeah, it's fine, Finn needs to do what he needs to do, and she just starts crying. So they're like, okay, listen, you're not fine, you're gonna go see him, like, right now. The bus hasn't left yet, you can make it. So Charlie's, like, speed driving, practically, like, drag racing to get her there, and she's there on time. Ruby complains about Charlie's driving, but it's fine. And so her and Finn kind of, like, make up a little bit, and they start talking again, but not anything like talking, like they just start conversing with each other, and it's kind of sweet. At the end, she's kind of come to terms with, like, her life and everything. It's just really sweet. So there aren't many books that I would like read directly after I just finished reading it. This is one of them. It's just so sweet, and the relationship between the different people, just like, they're so sweet and well developed and everything. I absolutely love them. You should totally check this book out. So that's it for today, and I will see you guys later.